If you're a founder thinking about fundraising right now, you're probably asking one of two questions. Is the market bad? Or is something wrong with my pitch? In my experience, those are usually not the real issue. The better question to ask is, am I actually ready to raise? Because being early is okay. Being unclear is what usually blocks fundraising. In this video, I'm going to walk you through an honest, practical checklist you can use to assess your fundraising readiness without hype, without jargon, and without assuming perfect traction. So, what ready to raise really means? A lot of founders think fundraising readiness means having great numbers, strong growth, or a very polished pitch deck. That's not actually true, especially at the early stage. What investors are really evaluating early on is not perfection. They're evaluating clarity. Clarity about who the customer really is, what problem is being solved, why this team is well positioned to solve it, and whether learning is happening in a structured way. I often say this, fundraising is a clarity test before it's a capital test. Once you understand that, the rest of this checklist starts to make a lot more sense. The first thing to assess is this. Can you clearly and simply explain who your customer is, what painful problem they have, and why they care about solving it now? Not in 5 minutes, in 1 or 2 sentences. When investors listen to early stage pitches, they're not listening for market size first. They're listening for focus. Some red flags here are, we serve everyone. The market is massive. Long explanations that never land on a sharp point. Clarity beats ambition at this stage. If you can't explain your customer and problem clearly, investors will assume you're still figuring it out, even if the idea is interesting. The second checkpoint is one that founders often misunderstand. Investors are not impressed by how busy you've been. They're impressed by what you've learned. A lot of founders list features built, pilots run, meetings taken, experiments launched, but then struggle to explain what actually changed because of those actions. What investors want to hear is insight. Things like what surprised you about customer behavior, what didn't work, and why you stopped doing it. What signal made you double down on a specific direction? Effort without learning feels risky. Learning, even with imperfect results, builds confidence. If you can't articulate your learnings clearly, you're probably not ready to raise yet. And that's okay. The third thing to assess is whether you have one clear story, not a deck, a story. That story should show up consistently across your pitch deck, how you explain the business verbally, how you answer questions, and how you follow up after meetings. A common issue I see is that founders change their story depending on the investor they're speaking to. Tailoring emphasis is fine. Changing the foundation is not. Inconsistent narratives signal that you're still exploring your own thinking in the room. Investors want to back founders who know what matters and what doesn't. The next question to ask yourself is this. If an investor spoke to you again in 4 to 6 weeks, could you show meaningful progress? Progress does not mean inflated metrics or vanity growth. It means movement on the right questions. For example, sharper clarity on your ideal customer profile, clearer pricing logic, faster feedback cycles, more conviction around go-to-market. When founders say, nothing has really changed, that's a signal they may be fundraising too early. Momentum builds conviction. Stagnation kills it. This is the most ignored part of fundraising readiness. Are you personally ready to raise? Some questions to reflect on. Can you answer hard questions calmly without getting defensive? Are you clear about your role and priorities? Can you say, we don't know yet, confidently when appropriate? If your confidence comes entirely from your slides, investors will feel that. A deck should support clarity, not create it. Founder readiness matters almost as business readiness. Let me quickly address a few things founders often misread. Investors asking a lot of questions does not automatically mean strong interest. Interest is curiosity. Conviction comes later. Getting many meetings does not mean you're close to a yes. It just means your idea is worth exploring. And polishing a deck will not fix fundamental clarity gaps. Good design can amplify a clear story. It cannot replace one. So what to do if you're not ready yet? If you go through this checklist and realize you're not ready, that's not a failure. It's useful information. The worst thing you can do is keep pushing meetings, hoping something sticks. Instead, pause fundraising. Fix the clarity gap. Run focused experiments. Build conviction deliberately. Founders who wait and raise well often outperform founders who rush and struggle. Fundraising is not about chasing capital. It's about earning conviction in your story, your learning, and yourself as a founder. If you're building a startup or planning to raise, I'll be sharing more structured thinking on fundraising, strategy, and clarity here. Subscribe to the channel if this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.